Hello there, brothers and sisters in Christ. God bless each and every single one of you. It is Hunter's Point here with another video. I do hope and pray that each of you all watching me right now are having a good Sunday night so far, wherever you all are at. I do hope and pray that each of you are all doing well. Now, I wanted to come on here and report on the power outages that have occurred in northwest Indiana. So without any further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. This is your one article world news update for the 23rd of August, 2026. The article is off of endtimeheadlines.org and will be linked in the description box below as per the usual. Tens of thousands of people in northwest Indiana forced in survival mode as they endured a ninth day without power. That was as of August 22nd. Tens of thousands of people in northwest Indiana remain trapped in a grinding ninth day without electricity after a deadly August 11th storm tore through the region, toppling trees, snapping power lines, and leaving communities in survival mode. According to a report that was published from NPR, families in places like Gary, for example, are discarding spoiled food, lining up for free hot meals, and hunting for any place that still has working outlets to charge phones. Schools stay shuttered and many businesses remain closed as the outage stretches into a second full week. Northern Indiana Public Service Company reported on Thursday morning that roughly 68,000 customers were still without power, the bulk of them being in Lake County along the Illinois border. Crews have restored service to more than 306,000 others since the storm, yet full restoration in some areas, including Gary, is not expected until Tuesday at the earliest. Utility officials have described the damage as unprecedented and widespread, with repair teams from across the country pouring in to replace broken poles, downed wires, and ruined equipment. Courtney Page-Tan, a professor at Indiana University, Indianapolis, who studies community resilience, warned that each additional day without power multiplies health risks. Generators running in poorly ventilated spaces raises the threat of carbon monoxide poisoning. People who depend on medical devices face the danger of those machines dying. Spoiled refrigerated food becomes a growing hazard. Quote, 9 days is a long time for a community to be without power, Page-Tan said. In Gary, the strain is visible. Shatia Hardin, a hairstylist who has operated her salon in the city for 25 years, has been unable to reopen since the storm hit. Residents in her lower income neighborhood initially absorbed the outage with familiar endurance, she said, but patience is now fraying. Quote, we're always in survival mode in Gary. And I think that's probably why it wasn't so much of an uproar, because the first few days it was like, okay, we're used to this. But this is the second week now, Hardin said, unquote. It is not okay for us to continually be in survival mode, doing the best that we can, quote unquote. Nearby in East Chicago, some residents regained power only to lose it again. Kevin Mija, who runs a community Facebook page, has become a clearinghouse for urgent needs. Quote, if I make one post, I get 500 comments, unquote, according to the 30-year-old. A lot of people have been reaching out to me for food, saying, hey, I threw out hundreds of dollars in groceries, quote unquote. Elderly people don't know who to turn to. Without air conditioning, Mija has been forced to sleep on the floor because his mattress retains too much heat. Community groups have stepped into the gap. Radia Martin, assistant director of the Flourish Community Hub at Flourish Church in Gary, called the volunteer response a rare bright spot amidst the uncertainty. Quote, we thrive best, as humans, on certainty and predictability, she said. So for something so devastating to happen so quickly, it definitely takes a toll on people mentally. Just not knowing what's coming next, where the next meal is going to come from, and when all this is going to be over. We need to have a light at the end of the tunnel, quote unquote. The prolonged outages have also upended the start of the school year for thousands of students. Gary's school district, serving about 4,300 children, began classes in early August but has remained closed since August 13th and will stay shuttered at least through Friday. Portage Township Schools postponed its planned August 12th opening and now aims for an August 25th start, citing ongoing safety hazards from fallen trees and unrepaired damage. Pagetown noticed that extended school closures hit working families especially hard. Households living paycheck to paycheck can quickly lose stability when parents must stay home because childcare options have vanished. While northwest Indiana struggles, heavy rains brought flash flooding to central Ohio. Columbus received more than 3 inches of rain in 12 hours back on Thursday morning. Emergency crews pulled motorists from stranded vehicles and rescued 2 women trapped in a flooded creek. First responders also saved a 12-year-old boy that was swept off a bridge while riding his bicycle. Mayor Andrew Ginther said that the city was already recovering from earlier weekend storms when the new rain struck. Well, we have been all hands on deck supporting residents since last week, he said. Quote, we're going to be focused on recovery even with this curveball from Mother Nature, unquote. As crews continue the massive repair effort in Indiana, residents continue to endure the daily grind of life without power, waiting for the lights and a measure of normalcy to return. You know, the big reason why I felt this pressing need to report on this is because, I subscribe to a similar line of thinking as Marfugal News or Marfugal TV. I don't know how many of you guys that watch me watch Adam from Marfugal News, but he is very much of the belief, and I share with him on this, that now more than ever, we live in a society, in a day and age, where you have to worry about EMP attacks. You have to worry about if some unknown party is going to launch an EMP attack and try to take down our power grid. And you think, not just how it affects people as it pertains to, food and drink, possibly spoiling, getting old. So, I mean, you've got to worry about food. And, I mean, obviously, as long as you got water, you got water. But, yeah, and those who maybe have medications that require being refrigerated, right? Put all that to the side. One of the concerns that isn't necessarily mentioned in this particular article is if we were to have something occur that would lead to our power grid getting taken down, not only would you have people with health issues struggling, but think of the lawlessness that would happen. Right? I mean, you've seen it online, in places where, maybe the power was only out 12 hours or 16 hours, or maybe it was out a day or two. People get so just irritable and angry, and they go into a panic, and you start to see places get vandalized and looted, and, people possibly going after other people. Like, the lawlessness, I think, is something that isn't always mentioned, that should definitely be a thought as it pertains to like prolonged power outages, especially when we live in a time now more than ever where you've got to worry about the possibility of an EMP attack. Whether that's something that'll ever occur, obviously I don't know, but I think it's important that we at least keep that thought sort of in the back of our minds as we read and digest articles like this one. If people react this way due to power outages from like natural disasters, what would happen if it were an EMP strike? That's the kind of stuff that articles like this gets me thinking of. Is how would people react? I think the lawlessness, unfortunately, would be extraordinary. And I just think that more than anything, it's just a sign of the times. But that's where I'm going to leave it. That is your news update for the 23rd of August. I'm going to pull up eSword, which is my online digital Bible program. And we are going to go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 1 through 4. That is the saving gospel message. 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4, that right there is how you are saved, if you believe that in your heart alone. It says, "Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain." Here's the emphasized portion. "For I delivered unto you, first of all, that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins, according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day, according to the Scriptures." That is the gospel, the good news, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1-4. That right there is how you were saved, if you believe that in your heart alone. Right? It's not about your performance or your behavior. It is about what Jesus Christ did for you on that cross at Calvary. I'm going to read John 3, verses 16-18, as I believe they tie in beautifully with the saving gospel message I just shared with you all. I'm going to read this now. It says, "For God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God." Jesus Christ is the Son of God, God the Son, the second part of the Trinity. He died on the cross, shedding his precious purifying blood for the remission of all mankind's sins. That's past, present, and future sins. He was buried in the tomb 3 days, proving that he was dead, and he rose again the third day, according to the Scriptures, for our justification and therefore our salvation. I'm going to finish here by reading Ephesians 2, verse 8 and 9, which says, "For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." We know that grace, by definition, is getting what we don't deserve, right? God's unmerited favor, which God has offered to us as the free gift of salvation. And we accept and receive that free gift once and for all, past, present, and future, by faith alone, in the finished redemptive work of Jesus Christ alone. It really is that simple. All you have to do is believe in him. May right now be the moment of salvation for you, if you have yet to believe. That's where I'm going to leave you guys off at. I will see you all in the next video message, whenever it is, should the Lord tarry is coming. Otherwise, God bless y'all. All right, take care, and God bless.